The Spiral Times presents the Spiral Times Video Vault. Hello, how you doing? So, uh, I thought I would do a video. My channel's not about politics at all, but lately you just find yourself. It's like, gosh dang, Um, I used to not vote, you know. Those of you that I've done videos about it, it wasn't that long ago, but yeah, like it's only recently that I became at all interested. I, what I used to do is, at first when I voted, because I've been voting, I don't know, about the last 3 or 4 elections or something, but not at first. Um, I would just, whoever was sensitive to environmental issues and educating and children, especially educating children. When I was in college, that's what I was studying to be an elementary school teacher. I'm the oldest of 5 kids and blah blah blah. So that's just I care about children and the education of children and children's safety and no no automatic weapons and semi-automatic weapons and no like stricter laws about selling guns that are really only good for shooting humans with as often as there's problems. Like, why would you even want one? Like, how could I possibly, you know? But you know what I mean. The point is that So that's also why I'm doing this video. That's not my video's about theology. My channel's about that I dropped a bunch of LSD my senior year in high school, and I wondered who God was, and started an 11-year in-depth. Well, there's a lot more to the story, but I did a full, very in-depth video about it, um, and talk about it plenty. And so this channel is about that. It's about theology, why I say I'm a Rasta, and all that. As far as now, like to get right to it, the politics. So just because like I've already mentioned what I believe. I believe look at my playlist about how to meditate, or just learn about Buddhism basically, or in the tarot deck I call it the High Priestess card. Uh, and that to me that's all the same thing, and it's the pathway, from connects number 6 to number 1 in the Kabbalah. So it's the most direct pathway. It's the only direct pathway from the self to the top of the tree. Because it's the most basic, fundamental thing, But you wouldn't call it the foundation. That's Yesod, of course, number 9. But it's kind of like that, It's the moon. The moon's everywhere. But that's the best answer. Is more people need to learn about the anatomy of ego and how to identify ego and where they are on their journey, their personal inner journey of knowing thyself, and ego development and the stages of ego maturity and stuff, and learning how to transcend your ego in a nutshell, which is that's what Buddhism's all about. Buddhism isn't a competition. It's an addition, and it becomes the foundation of any, strangely enough. Well, I'll just add in a little bit of Buddhism to my Christianity, and then it'll become the foundation of your Christianity, which is probably why they call it satanic. That's pretty threatening. But see, that's kind of more, that's more of the things I talk about. My message is a spiritual one. Um, and my message is also one of peace. It's one of non-racism, until the day that a man doesn't judge another man any differently than you do about the color of your eyes. I've never said it like that. It's the Bob Marley song, because I quote it all the time. I thought, well, just Try to word it in your own way. Why do you always have to quote it exactly like Bob said it, who was quoting Selassie? Um, anyway, so that's my message, and I've always been consistent with that. Lately, I've found myself with the because I side with the left, but that's kind of what I want this video to be about. Is that this polarization of left and right, and this um, I had to pause it to remember the word binary, and I'm transgender. This binary, everything's aren't binary. My hell, you guys, everything's a spectrum. What is this? When someone thinks everything's a binary, the birds and the bees and your mom and your dad and everything's a binary, atoms and everything's pairs of two. It's like, that's like, dude, why would you admit you're an idiot like that? How embarrassing! Oh my gosh, like literally everything's a spectrum and nothing's just that simple. It's like so stupid. That's a horrible guess. That's like the first guess. Like you just barely came out of the womb and one of your first sentences in your head is that. That's like stupid. So that, like that's this big thing right now, not just because of transgender people, because of just everything, us against them, you might call it. I'm a Pink Floyd fan. Us and Them, the song off Dark Side of the Moon. It's not us and them. Philosophies of us and them. This is the true religion. All the others are demonic. Us and them. Any of that we need to. What we obviously need as a species is we need to learn the basic things that are so apparent and so obvious right now that we need to become aware of so that we can move to the next step. It's a step in our evolution, in our growth as a species. So obviously there are some things we need to outgrow. The things that create so much competition that all of a sudden everybody's walking around thinking everything's a binary, and we're the good guys and everybody else that isn't us is the other thing that makes up two, and they're the enemy and everything's their fault. Obviously that's not going to work. How could we possibly? So your idea was that was the best way to build a future? Come on, unity and diversity. Diversity, is a swear word for some people, and woke and empathy is a sin, and it's like, dude, whoa. Some of them are doing it in the name of Jesus. It's like, dang, dude. Sometimes what I want to do, I would do this. I wouldn't mind getting a group of Christians together, and I can teach them about this one man, presupposing that they've never heard of him, that most people call Jesus and I call Yahushua. And I'll teach you about the philosophy of Yahushua. And we can learn how to really look at people and treat one another. And I will teach you of my hero that teaches me how to treat people, Yahushua. And I'm not a Christian. I'm a witch. So, so it's a witch, dude. That's demonic. See what I mean? That's demonic. And why is it demonic? Because it's witchcraft and that's satanic. Because my priest said so. So it was rolled up with all the other things that is rolled up in number 2, the other side of the polarity that there supposedly is, and nothing's a spectrum, and that's the devil and all that. It's like, dude, see, like, hello. So yeah, it's not 2. It's not left and right, Republican and Democrat. It's like Aaron Ra is one of my main heroes. He's I watch all. I will never. Wow, I miss videos. I'm lying, but I do like him a lot. He's solid to bring up many important points. And his video today was about how they're doing it again. They think it's left and versus right, when really it's a spectrum. There's a bunch. It's not just Democrat and Republican. Democrats used to be really far right at one point, and then the Republicans used to be a lot more left, and they haven't even with those two things, they haven't always been this and that. And within that, like it's weird that people don't even know what words mean. Fascism is what the word fascism, that's far right. That's what that means by definition. So whenever people on the right are accusing the left of being fascist, that's stupid. when the left gets extreme, that's communist, you know. But name calling isn't it either, you know. It's just the right, maybe the right could say something more along the lines of, "Hey, you guys, now communism isn't, if your ideas and your input is going to be so almost communist. Sometimes it makes me sick. I don't know how you do it. Then be careful because of this and this and this. This is why I'm afraid of communism, and I'm not sure that's a good idea." And then the left, instead of us saying you're fascist, therefore you're horrible and we hate you and you're a worthless piece of shit, maybe we could say, well, you know, we're all one. We're all, you know, if I was you, I probably would believe the same thing. The racism and all that, we're going to need you to be smarter on that. You know, like blaming a demograph, you know, and believing that there's such a thing as a demograph that's all the same kind of person. It's just all, it's like we need you to become more aware than that of how things work and stuff like that, you know. And you know, like why? I can't imagine why you wouldn't be more on the left, you know. But at times, you know, like at times I'm not on the right. But like for example, with transgender issues, I think most of the time probably trans women don't belong in women's sports, you know. But I do believe a trans woman is a woman. It's like does it need to be a competition? There's different kinds of women, you know. A woman is a biological born female, unless it's a trans woman. Then they're biologically born transgender, and we have some things that can help them out, because that is kind of a very extreme minority. You know, why would you pick on an extreme minority? Like we don't know why. Because that's what bullies do. It's a bad idea. It's all a bad idea. As far as the economy, that's probably more realistic. Concerns about the economy and conversations about the economy is probably what we ought to be doing right now, is talking about the economy, because and the environment, you know. But global warming, it's not appropriate to say I don't believe in global warming. No, it doesn't matter what it's called. We need to be responsible with the earth. That's stupid. Cut it out, please. Yes, we will invest energy and money and effort into taking care of the planet, and we'll be responsible with it. Say that over and over again until you believe it or something, stupid. Come on, some of the things, you guys. Environment, yes. Educating children, yes. Abortion, I don't know why you would ever do that, but rape and things like that, yes, but I'm pro-choice, see, because it's not because what's the right thing for you. When people are talking about what they believe with abortion, they're talking about what they believe, see, but other people don't believe the same thing as you. And some of those people that don't believe the same thing as you believe that are more likely to do an abortion or whatever. But that's, see what I mean? The point is that in a free world where people are free to choose, that would be left up to the individual. That would be left up to the woman. It's her body, right? So I don't know why you wouldn't be pro-choice. It doesn't, like, you're all gross, please. You could, you know, just plead your case and say, please, you guys, be real careful with that abortion shit. Whoa, I think there's some times maybe you shouldn't have done it. But you don't try to make it illegal. See the difference? You know, like ideas that unify, not ideas that create an us and them, and now we're in the middle of a war. And why? But the truth is hopefully you're on the left if you're listening to me, because the right want a war. They're like, oh hell yeah, let's do a war. But it's like, dude, oh shit, dude. No, like hurting people and shooting people because you want them to believe the same thing, and you want to believe there's one thing that everybody needs to believe and one way that everybody needs to live, and that's the only way? Come on. What? Do you understand? The Bible is from like 2,000 years ago, back when there was like 1,500 people. Stupid. 15 fucking hundred people. I'm kidding. But there weren't very many. Now there's not thousands, not millions, but there's like billions of people. There's a lot more people now, and we're modern and we're all connected because of technology. And we in a healthy government, we could easily feed everybody. Like everybody could be taken care of up to a very comfortable amount, and we'd all be one family. We just have to think in unity. Oh, that's a utopia. Yours is a utopia where you force everybody the truth because it's the truth with a capital T. No. I think that if you guys would be more introspective and spend some more time on it, you could. I think it's an easy one, a no-brainer. You can figure it out. But if you can't, it's probably an ego thing. Back to the meditation. Seriously, hang up a picture of the Buddha. Like, just start tiptoeing the tulips of the Buddha, yo. So, that being said, and what can we do about it? What can we do about it? Vote. Okay, so we can protest, and what protesting accomplishes is it communicates to others what other people are believing. We're showing each other what we feel inside and opinion, how we opinionate and stuff. And so that's important because we, the people, are the ones that really have the money. They're only rich because we gave them our money. We have the power and everything, and so when we protest, we're showing each other what we believe. And that's why we should have freedom of speech, so we can see what everybody believes. To not want people to express themselves, censorship, like morality policing and censorship and that whole thing, to me, that's what I'm a Gen Xer, so I grew up during the Satanic Panic, and I was a rocker back then. I still am, Ozzy Osbourne this year, see, and a smile. That's how he wants us to react. So to me, the Satanic Panic, like, have you ever seen the movie Detroit Rock City about those kids in the 70s that were Kiss fans? Isn't it weird? All the movies that came out that tried to just be real profound about the way life is, and in the end, that was the movie that was the most like real life, and as far as our future. Little did any of us know. We just thought that was a silly movie, but meanwhile, it was the mom in that movie that she won the election this year, dude. So it's the Satanic Panic, and now we're going to be forced to believe that the heavy metal is the devil's music, and Dungeons and Dragons is satanic and all that stuff, and you guys are all devil. That is all witchcraft is satanic, and Dungeons and Dragons is satanic, and it's all satanic, and it means you're satanic and demonic. It's like, whoa. And those people are like in the White House, satanic panic, marching through the White House. It's like, whoa, dang, dude. I guess you guys won at least. We'll see how it ends up, like in the bigger picture, which this will soon be in the past. But yeah. So no, my message is nonviolence, 100%. But I'm a Bruce Lee person. Be prepared, not prepared like you might have to do violence, but the Jeet Kune Do Bruce Lee mentality is that you don't display your weapons and talk about things in detail like that, but you keep it inside that you could defend yourself if it was appropriate, So kind of like that. That's about where well, have you seen Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee? Keep it in a Bruce Lee way, where you're powerful and you're ready to go and you're in shape and you're on a diet and stuff, but yet you would never use violence, or you certainly don't brag about it. It's not your message. It's not what you're about. You know more about ego than that. What Bruce Lee called Zen, the biggest chapter in his book about Jeet Kune Do. So, be water, like he says, and water is a feminine energy, isn't it? Not kung fu, but gung fu, So, more like that, keep it like that. So part of what I wanted to say in this message is I'm an Eagles fan, the Philadelphia Eagles, very much. In fact, I think we should use the NFL in America, So like sports were invented to prepare men for battle, right? Isn't that what we've always been told? I don't know if that's true. Maybe you guys are history buffs and you can teach us the truth in the comments. But but yo, um, we should do football instead. Americans love football and everything, and and then because like all the gossipy, how part of the reason we're doing this political bullshit and all the reason why fascism works and all that is, a lot of that has to do with the social nature of humans, and we all like are telling each other what to think more than just all this. There's this side that we all know is there. But sports are brilliant at doing something with the side of us that might ever hurt someone in a more constructive way. The competition, the capitalism competition, masculine energy, you know, all of that stuff. It can be used in a way that everybody can play a part. The audience is part of it. And everything, and we can have a favorite team that'll give you a sense of belonging, and not have it. Let's not have our country's favorite sport be politics, and you're either on this side or that, and you hate the other side. Let's become NFL fans, you guys. That's what I think. I think we should be NFL fans. Make sure we understand how to transcend ego so we can be sure we're not part of the problem, and, just realize that we have the power, and it's really important to vote. Because, like, the way our system, the only chance we, the people, have is democracy. That's what the word democracy means. We, the people, have it stand a chance. Digo yo. Just kidding. You can't make that up, huh? That's politics. Politics is like medicine and stuff. That's why I hate it. Not medicine. I can't even say it. Math is what you guys call it. Just kidding. I'm not kidding, am I? But anyway, so you guys, sports, but maybe the NFL, because there's just so much gimmickry and gossip, and you guys you can get some of that gossiping done by just talking bad about your team's quarterback or something, and it's a lot better than hurting people in real life, but football is kind of violent. It'll work, you guys, and nobody will really die or anything, and it'll be kind of fun, and it won't make nobody will have to be so polluted as a person that they have to be part of a team and maybe even participate in violence and stuff like that, So, ideas of unity, appreciation for unity and diversity. The word diversity should rarely go without the word unity. It's not just diversity, it's unity and diversity. Unity is the verb that describes your part, that creates the diversity, because that's what we learn. That's what we're supposed to learn right now. When there's the lack of appreciation for diversity, it turns into a game of elitism, and then whoever the ruling elite is, they try to stamp it out. So there's no longer any diversity, either because everybody's scared and they're pretending they're the same person. Then it looks like there's only 3 people in the room, or whatever, We all connect within. It's the one love.